On the night of March 1st, 2025, Sarah Clayson, a female state trooper, turned a routine pizza run into a career-ending nightmare when she collided with a motorcyclist on Village Parkway off SR 240 in Richland, Washington, killing the 20-year-old rider. Claiming she mistook the bike for a car with a broken headlight, her story quickly frayed as hints of corruption emerged, her evasive demeanor and the faint whiff of alcohol suggesting more than a simple misjudgment. Washington state law, RCW 46.5/2020, mandates that a driver involved in an accident resulting in death must stop at the scene and provide assistance, which Clayson did, performing CPR as a first responder, but her actions couldn't mask the suspicion that this off-duty trooper was hiding a darker truth.
Hello.
How's it going? Good. Do you want to talk over here real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm Steve. I'm with the traffic unit. So, just, I know this is probably uncomfortable, but we're just gonna, treat this like as if it was anything else, and we want to figure out what was going on. Just, just in order to rule anything out.
Yeah.
Like obviously, it just is important to rule everything out as it is to confirm everything. So, I'm just getting here, so I know you already answered some questions from the other guys, but generally, what happened? And
so I went and picked up a Domino's pizza.
Okay.
I was turning left from here. I live right over there on Wild Canyon Way.
Okay.
I saw what I thought was a car with one headlight out.
Okay.
Right just past where the reflective sign is, that white one.
Okay, sure.
And so I was already slowing in the turn lane and saw him there, and I was like, I got enough time.
Okay.
I turned, and as soon as I turned, just felt the boom.
Okay. So as you're turning, you thought he was further away.
No, he was definitely past that reflective sign when I saw him.
Okay.
And then, like I say, I thought it was a car with a headlight out. And realized it was a motorcycle, and didn't realize the rate of speed they were going at.
So did you think he was going pretty quick?
Yes.
Okay.
Because from that reflective sign, it's kind of, I live here, so that's always my general rule. If they're past that sign, then you got plenty of time if you're already slowing to turn in.
Gotcha.
And
so based on making this turn and numerous times that you know how to judge that distance.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, good to go. Okay. All right. You're probably aware we're just gonna run this like normal. So I'm just gonna run you through some voluntary field sobriety tests if you're willing to. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do any.
Okay. All right. What about the PBT? You willing to do a voluntary PBT?
I don't want to do any tests based on the circumstances.
Understood. What about, obviously you just gave me a verbal statement. Are you willing to write down a statement on paper?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me go grab a statement form, and I'll let you fill that out. And then I know you want to get out of here, so we'll do that. That way we just kind of lock everything in for today. So
sounds good.
All right. Yeah, just give me a few minutes here.
No worries.
Yep. Here is the statement forms. Once I got here, you're probably going to need a clipboard or something, aren't you?
Yeah, no, you're good. I'll just write on the hood, if that's okay.
I'll have you stay away from the vehicle just to keep that. But let me grab you a clipboard. That's my bad.
No worries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions for me at this point?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I'll just be over here, so just flag me down once you're done with that.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you for completing that for me. I'll just read through it real quick. So before I read it, I don't know if this was ever clarified. You're in the turn lane. You're turning. Was there any other traffic coming?
So there was a car behind him. I thought it was a car with a headlight out. It was coming this way. Like I say, it was right at that white sign. So it's kind of my gauge on when I turn. But I was slowing, and then saw there was a car there, turned, and then just literally out of nowhere just ran inside me.
Okay, so there was a car in front?
No, behind him.
Behind him.
Yeah,
okay.
so
Do you know how far?
It was kind of hard to, I would probably say maybe 50 feet behind him, because I could see two headlights on that one on this one. They were at the white light, or the white sign, sorry. And then when I saw that, I was like, there's a row of cars coming. One's got a headlight out, so they probably can't see well, so maybe they're driving slower or whatever. But yeah, once I saw they were only at the white sign, I was like, I got time to turn.
Okay.
And as soon as I turned, it was boom, right in the...
Okay. Okay.
Just as I almost completed my turn.
Okay. Okay, so you're almost finished with your turn?
Yeah. I was kind of see where the point of impact was.
Sure.
I guess in the daylight it's easier to see if they're going faster, but I looked and saw like one light and I was like, we're past the white sign. I'm good to turn. But I don't know how fast they were going or what, but it definitely wasn't like I was trying to squeak in at all. Like there was plenty of room.
You thought you had plenty of time, not that you had to gun it or anything?
No, not at all. I was slowing here and then maybe like 20 miles an hour when I made the turn.
Okay, so you slowed down to 20 and then...
Oh, yeah, because I go left here, so it's... You gotta stop the lights, or at this time, I don't want to stop, but at least a rolling slow down, I mean, you're not going to make that hard turn.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I'll be honest with you. I would love to rule out impairment, but without the fields, it is hard to rule that out. Obviously, it's voluntary. I won't ask you again, but there may always be that question down the road.
I just rather not.
Okay.
Yeah. I know how it goes, too. So.
Yeah. What do you mean you know how it goes?
Even if there's like a little, if I had a glass one earlier or something like that, I just don't want to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I definitely don't feel impaired. I don't feel like there was impairment as an issue.
Did you have a glass of wine earlier?
Not gonna answer it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just mentioned like if. So
if I would have, or had, but.
So his bike kind of got pushed in front of your car, but was he still in the roadway? Is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, so he was right about almost where the cop was standing there. He was maybe just a little bit to the north of him.
Okay. To the north of him.
Just like literally like a body size. There's probably blood there.
Okay.
But then I got out immediately, and there was a few people that stopped. I think the car that was behind him had stopped and started CPR, and everybody was standing around asking if I needed gloves or something. I was like, it's not really necessary right now.
Okay, and and obviously you were the only one in the car.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have people at home, or you just...
Yeah.
Okay.
My husband's at home.
Okay.
I just went to go get the pizza.
Okay. I'm just gonna we're just kind of in a holding pattern right now, so I'll talk to my partners over there, and we'll kind of figure out how we're gonna what's next. Just give me a couple minutes.
When traffic unit investigator Steve arrived, Sarah Clayson's refusal to take voluntary field sobriety tests or a breathalyzer screamed guilt. Her glassy eyes and cryptic, "I know how this goes," hinting at a corrupt cop desperate to dodge accountability. RCW 46.61502 states, a person is guilty of driving under the influence if they drive with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 or higher, and her reluctance forced investigators to secure a blood draw warrant to uncover what she wouldn't admit. This wasn't just a trooper in over her head. It was a calculated move by someone who thought her badge could bury her sins, only to see it backfire as suspicion tightened its grip.
Do you want to grab the Furrow?
No. I think she has something on board.
Do you really?
Yeah. So
Is there?
we have to.
Is there going to be enough to get a search warrant?
So yeah, I'll write it. I mean, unless you want.
What changed?
So I was just studying her. She got a couple misspelled words on here.
Okay.
She wrote sigh, and she said 100 feet. Sorry, I'm going a little fast. She estimated the distance between the guy on the motorcycle and her to be 100 feet, which that's way more than 100. That's like 500 feet. She said she was almost through her turn when clearly she was at the very beginning of her turn. Her eyes are a little bit glassy, a little bit.
What those lights be?
But could be, but we got to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
I do not have a great sense of smell, but I think I smelled a little bit of odor of alcohol, enough for me to say. And then I told her, I'm like, hey, we just want to rule out impairment. And by you not doing it, I'm like, I'm not going to ask you again, but I'm like, we can't rule it out. And she's like, yeah, well, if I would have had a glass of wine earlier, I know how this goes. And I said, did you have a glass of wine earlier? And she said, I'm not going to answer that. So
Okay.
I think with everything, we have to. I mean,
Okay.
I will write the search warrant.
Well,
But yeah, I'm still recording. I'm still recording. I would have loved to have ruled it out. I will mute, yes. All right, so like I said, we were really trying to rule alcohol out. I'm not convinced that alcohol wasn't a factor. So right now you are under arrest, okay?
Okay.
Let's go ahead and put your hand behind your back. So we will be doing a search warrant for blood, okay? That way there will be no questions. Do you have anything in your pockets or anything?
Yeah, nothing dangerous.
Okay. Would you go to piece of card for me?
I can do the breath test if you want me to.
Well, at this point, I think we'll just probably do the search warrant.
Okay.
I mean, go ahead and piece of card.
Just wondering what
Yeah.
the cause. But yeah, if you guys want to do the breath test.
Well, so we're trying to treat this like any other incident, and
Yeah, I
typically once the opportunity kind of comes and that you say you don't want to do it, it's voluntary, and then if you want to do it,
Well, I would do a voluntary breath test at the BAC, but I just didn't want to do the fields.
okay. So you wanted to submit to? I think with the significance of this, I think it's probably we're going to probably need a search warrant. Okay.
That's fine.
All right. I appreciate your
Yeah,
cooperation.
no worries, of course.
Okay. All right. So head over this over here. So let's just have a seat right here. Because off you, and we'll utilize the one on the wall. Right, thanks, Paul. I was just going to leave my body camera here, just start normal procedure.
Okay, no worries.
Checking in, did you need any water or anything?
No, I would need to use the restroom before we leave.
Okay, I've got a female officer. We can add on a scale of 1 to 10 now. 1 being not right now, 10 being
Like
yes.
5.
Okay, I
Yeah,
can let
before we
you
leave the
know.
hospital. Yeah.
All right, sir. How you doing?
Not too bad.
All right, so they did get a warrant for the blood, so we'll go and do that now.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, your charge is vehicular homicide. Hey, thanks for coming. So yeah, I got the warrant, and then we just had just a jail clearance because she was in a crash. All right, so yeah, we're just here doing the blood draw and then the jail clearance just because you were in the crash.
Okay.
So yeah, we're just here for a clearance and then a blood draw, legal blood draw. You don't have anybody from the lab come in yet?
I called as soon
Okay.
as you guys locked
Gotcha.
the door.
Okay, just want to make sure.
The nurse just called.
Gotcha. Okay, just want to make sure.
I promise.
Okay. Clearly busy. That's okay. Just want to make sure they're aware. I can't imagine there's that many other people who need their blood drawn right now. It was before 8. 7:40. It's a long time. I don't want to. Yeah, if you could.
Nope.
Like we've been waiting for a while.
Nope.
This is a fatality crash.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say I called.
Yeah.
I called. She's called. Like,
Okay.
It really doesn't take me this long, so I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah. Appreciate it.
Somebody already showed for you guys?
Nope, we're waiting.
You have the warrant?
I do.
You have the tubes?
I do. You want me to hand?
Well, I'll just make sure the white powders are there. Is there anything else that you wanted on there? I put the case number, her
That's
name, date
perfect.
of birth, my initials, the time.
That looks good to me.
Okay.
So I was instructed to take your phone as well, so that'll be in our custody. I'm not sure if they will be writing a search warrant on that, so just wanted to let you know that will be in your property.
Were any of the, because like say when I was doing CPR, there were several other witnesses
around after the collision? Did any of those guys stick around you?
I don't know. I don't know. I believe so. Somebody made mention of a video that came out or something shortly thereafter. I don't know. I got called to the scene after.
Yeah, CPR.
After, as a traffic investigator, yeah. So yeah, I was a while before I got there. So a lot of those loose ends, I think, the other traffic investigators kind of wrapped up. I'm just not privy to those just because I wasn't there for too long. Hey, how you doing? So she was involved with the motor vehicle crash.
What?
But she was cleared at the jail. She also is a trooper, so whatever accommodations you guys can make for that.
By night's end, Sarah Clayson's wrists were in cuffs, charged with vehicular homicide under suspicion of DUI after killing 20-year-old Gioser Sanchez, her arrest stripping away the veneer of a corrupt trooper who'd gambled her career on one reckless turn. RCW 46.61520 defines vehicular homicide as causing the death of another by operating a vehicle recklessly or under the influence, a charge pinned on her despite her weak claim of misjudging the motorcycle's speed. Processed with a blood draw and jail clearance, her status as a Washington State Patrol trooper offered no protection. Spokane County's special prosecutor took over due to the conflict of interest, exposing her to the same justice she'd once enforced. Released on her own recognizance after a 72-hour hold on March 3rd, Clayson hasn't faced formal charges as of April 4th, 2025, with the investigation still active. The blood results, potentially damning evidence of her intoxication, remain under wraps, while witness videos could further unravel her story. Was she always rotten, using her badge to bend the rules? Or did one night of arrogance torch her career? Share your take below. Can Sarah Clayson outrun this, or is her corrupt legacy sealed? Like and subscribe for more police cam stories. Watch the next recommended video, click to watch now.